right? And then following the protocols inside that strict design, and within 10 minutes they're like, holy crap, I'm shifted, which was the goal. I'm having really good success in my coaching sessions because I'm starting to follow some better rules. I know the rules, but it's like gotta follow the rules for the rules to work, right? So I have a couple
Okay.
rules now. If I'm going to do a good coaching session, and that's different than like just having a coaching session. I was having a good coaching session. Uh, one of the rules is no storytelling
Mhm.
from them or from me. And then for me, the rule is whatever comes out of my mouth has to be a question or a reflection. Like I'm just sounding back what they're saying, right? That's a reflection. I'm not adding my own 2 cents to anything. If I can,
Right.
if I can get away, it's hard, right? Because I'm old and I know things, and I want to share those things. And so that's my own, but that's not coaching. That's mentoring. And so if I can get through
Teaching,
the session, huh? Was
teaching.
teaching, yeah. If I can get through the session with only asking questions and reflecting and not adding my own opinion or my own perspective to any of the things, which is this is a lot, this is very hard, right, as a coach to do. I find that the sessions are more impactful and faster. Like I think all the time waste happens and these on these other activities, and it actually prevents and slows down their impact. I was semi-coaching a guy the other day, and it took 2 questions, and his mind exploded, and he had his breakthrough.
Hmm.
And that's just because I shut up, right? I shut up. I asked the question. I asked the question. Reflected. I asked another question. I reflected, and I shut up. And then all of a sudden, his brain just went, you know, and he's like, "Wow, I never thought about that." And I could tell that his wheels were now turning, and as he's trying to apply, what does that mean to him? And if I were to interrupt that process, I would pull away from his own internal experience. So
That's beautiful.
yeah, and
I mean,
yeah,
since that's what IPEC
mhm,
teaches.
yeah. Well, that's the
Not
core
you.
that's the core principle of what coaching is, right? So, but this is what I this here's my theorem, right? So my coaching sessions used to go hour and a half long, right, in the very beginning when I was, a novice. Now that I'm skilleder, right, I'm better. They can be a 30 minutes to an hour, depending. Sometimes my most impactful ones are less than 30 minutes. And as I now analyze what I'm doing different, it's these rules, right? It's making a huge difference. I think, and I'm fairly confident in this idea that I could have a complete coaching session from beginning to close with very great breakthroughs happening that are life changing in under 10 minutes
Hmm.
by by being stricter on the rules. Right, the more strict we are on some of these concepts and these protocols, the faster their breakthrough happens. I am fairly confident that I could do it in 10 minutes. And if I could do it in 10 minutes, then it's more, I think it's even more impactful because it happens so fast.
Interesting.
Because people want to spend time with you, that's one thing, but I'm not getting paid per the hour. I'm getting paid per the impact. I mean, if you want to hang out and chit chat, sure, like we are, right? Like I had a lot of ideas from this conversation. If you want to have one of those type of things, I spent the whole day with my buddy, on his boat and just hanging out and talking about, his perspective and how he got to where he was and just some of the way he sees the world. Like I went from mindset to practicality to, what information he consumes. Oh yeah, I was getting it all. And because I want to see what was so different. Like what his life pattern was, because his life pattern equals his results.
Mhm.
So what was different in his life pattern from my life pattern and from other people's life pattern that in achieving these different types of results. And in all that, uh you can have those types. It was all day, literally all day. And I drove 3 hours down and 3 hours back to have those conversations with him. Well worth my time. Like,
Yeah.
well worth my time. That's different. You know what I mean? That's not the coaching experience,
Oh, very much not.
right? You know what I mean? Like, so I think there's a different way to approach. I don't know. For me, like, I'm approaching coaching from a different perspective now. Like, hey, look, we're not doing a podcast. We're not going to hang out and talk about like love, life, and the universe. You know what I mean?
Mhm.
We're going to have a coaching session, and this is how this starts, right? And then following the protocols inside that strict design, and within 10 minutes, they're like, "Holy crap, I'm shifted," which was the goal.
And I've been, so the videos that we have to watch for the core dynamics um, certification, there's like 9 of them, and they're all an hour long. And that's after you watch the 35 that are all like 5 to 8 minutes.
Right, mandatory hours.
Yeah. Finding the little inputs, finding the little things in the Google Chrome, the extensions,
Mhm,
the extensions that allow you to speed up the video playback to
mhm,
like 2 times speed instead of 1 time speed.
mhm,
Game changer. I was able to get through all of it,
mhm.
learn a lot, take notes, and it took me less than half the time.
Nice, 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 nice.
Yes, it was. One of the things that I was really impressed by was, so they always had the the facilitator and then 2 coaches to discuss the topic. And the 2 facilitators were usually just absolutely phenomenal coaches in their own right.
Mhm,
And so one of them was always going to coach the other one. And there
mhm,
was this one guy, Walter Aguilar, and he works with minor league hockey prospects,
mhm,
like like guys who were on their way potentially to the NHL.
mhm,
And he was incredible. Like getting to watch him coach, like he coached this like one of these other coaches who was like, yeah, I'm kind of having anxiety around this business thing that I'm going into. And he's like,
mhm.
it sounds like you're not so much afraid of this failing, but it sounds like you're afraid of this succeeding. Like, do I understand that correctly? Like, how does that resonate with you? She's like, yeah.
Mhm.
And just boom.
Right.
It was like 7 or 8 minutes. And she was, I feel so much better. Like, and she kept coming back to it. She was like, thank you so much. Like on the training call
Uh-huh.
for us, talking about the stuff that she's supposed to be teaching us about. Like it was
Right.
amazing.
Yeah.
And just to see the power of the concepts put into practice
Mhm,
in a masterful and conscious way is,
mhm,
it's great. Like I've gotten a lot out of it, and I think I know I'm a better person for it. Like I'm approaching things differently in my
mhm,
marriage,
mhm,
approaching things differently in my personal life. I'm recognizing when I'm experiencing emotions that don't serve me well,
mhm.
and I'm okay. Like, all right, that's a level 1 mindset. That's apathy. Let's
Yeah,
at least get to conflict. Let's at least
yeah,
get to number 2.
yeah. Right.
We're not going to sit here in apathy. I tell you that. We're going to,
Yeah,
okay, do we need to just deal with it and get past this? All right, let's move to level 3.
yeah, yeah.
It's been it's made a big difference in my life, I have to
Mhm.
say. And
I
I've
had a similar experience when I was in your spot, back probably that room, and I was going through my coaching training because I was doing the second version of the Maxwell coaching training, It was it was good. It was good because I don't say they fired. We'll say they had a parting, right, of their original master coach, and they brought in another master coach.
What did the first guy do?
What do you mean, as a coach or as a to get departed? I don't know. I don't know, but two people, the two of the head honchos left. There was a big transition in the company, and so they brought in another master coach, and she had her own curriculum, right, that we went through, and I think her stuff was presented better. Same basic themes, right? I mean, the concepts don't really change all that much, right? She had a little bit of a different approach to some of the things, and I don't know, maybe it was after doing 800 hours of this training that clicked when I was there. And my aha moment came when I was correcting a bullet for an awards package. Like they were like some staff sergeant was doing awards, I was getting it, I was doing my thing, and it was in that moment in time where my brain was like, "What are you doing?" "Oh, I'm doing the thing I always done." "Is this coach? Is this what is this? Is this serving them? Are you disempowering? What are you doing?" Oh my gosh, that's right. And they stopped that nonsense. It was that moment. It was a bullet piece because all I'm doing every time you take a bullet, you correct it, you send it back. You're just telling them they're wrong. Zero learning happens when you do a correction and they rewrite it.
Are you just telling them they're wrong, or are you asking for more information?
No, you're telling them no. If you're doing the correction stuff, the whole red ink thing, go correct this, right? All you're doing is just telling them they're wrong. And even if you tell them to explain more, you're still just telling them they're wrong. So what I did was different. No, what we're saying, I'm just in the natural progression, right? Like when I sent it up to the senior, he just sent it back with red marks. He didn't explain crap, right? It's wrong, right? Correct these things is the way, it's a process. So instead, what I did is I just went to his desk, said pull it up, and I did the coaching methodology on the bullets.
Yeah.
Phenomenal package. Much better. And they felt much, and they learned so much more about writing. They learned so much about what to put in there. They learned more in that 30 minutes than the hour it would have spent me, or 2 hours it would have spent me correcting it. You know, and so we get that print and I send it up to senior. Senior sends it back with red marks. I would take it to his office. I go, "Boss, here's the deal. We're going to do things a little different. We want to send this package up without your marks. We're going to send this up as is, if that's okay with you." He was a little offended, right? Because again, this I'm taking away his inputs, right? But I'm like, "Look, here's the deal. We're doing something different. And if it wins, it wins. If it doesn't win, it doesn't win. Like, whatever. We want to make a choice, right? Because like, can we do that?" I go, "Sure, whatever." Right? It saves me time. So he won. Right? He won. He won on his own merit on because he was able to express the details that no one else would have known. And everybody else is assuming, right? All up the chain of corrections, right? We're assuming that this is what you meant.
Yeah.
When we reword something, we're making some grand assumptions there. And again, it's that top bias problem.
Do you remember the no, yeah, bring that full circle. That makes sense. Like you assume that somebody's higher ranking, older, been in the military longer, what they have to say will be more effective. I think there's that. And you know, sometimes, yes, that is the case. But is that going to serve you the best in the long run? Maybe not.
Right. And I think there's also there's that I know you want to say something on that. Just there's a piece of like, look, I've been doing this job forever. I know how to do this job, and we're going to do it this way. And I'll show you why as we go, because I am the master, you're the apprentice. That wise old man wisdom thing, 100%. The young cat's not going to get that. But the person that did the thing knows the most. Everyone else is just assuming, right? They're all just kind of deriving.
Yeah.
You know what I mean?
Yeah.
And so, and if the questions are good and the rewriting is good, more clear, then you would get to that clarity in the bullet that will win, type of thing. And so it's about the, you know what I mean? Like, yes, you're right, but I don't think under those circumstances. I think when your wisdom and your knowledge is applied in mastery of a thing, and you're bringing along apprentices and journeymen to guide through a problem that they can't see the big picture of because they don't have the experience to understand that, that makes sense. But when I wasn't there, that person was there. Tell me the story of what you did. Let's just keep talking about it until it makes sense to me and anyone.